the challenges I always find is talking to my son and my little nephew about going into hospital, because when it happens so suddenly, and all of a sudden they're not seeing, sometimes they don't see the process because they are asleep when it happens. So when they come into hospital, it's always a shock. These are little kids, and they see you in hospital with all this IV fluid, with all this painkiller. Sometimes I'm crying when they come to see me because I'm still in so much pain, and I do want them there. I don't want them neglected. I don't want them not knowing what I'm going through and not knowing that how serious the condition is. And I believe that if I start them off at a young age, it's better for them to accept me and not feel pity for me. So I've always involved my son and my nephew in the process. But talking to them is also very challenging as well. And I would say this because they're still quite young and they still don't exactly know what you're going through. All they know is that you are in hospital and they don't know why. And they always ask this question, why are you in hospital? Are you going to get better? Especially my son now, who's already 6, is asking more challenging question that I don't want you in hospital because I don't like it. I don't like the needles. I think that's really, 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 really challenging for me because you want to assure them that your mommy's fine, mommy's going to do everything possible. But sometimes sickle cell is also very unpredictable as well, because sometimes you go into hospital, it's more minor case, and sometimes you go into hospital and you don't know how long you're going to be in there for. So it is a challenge, but it's something that we just have to work closely with your child, and I've been doing that with my son and my little nephew, so they understand what I'm going through and not feel, frightened in any way. You never know, in school someone might ask them, how comes your mommy's always sick? They feel confident to be able to explain to them what mommy's going through and don't feel threatened about it. So I do keep them enlightened and let them understand. There's so many people out there right now that are at increased risk from sickle cell, especially people living in developing countries. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done for sickle cell, and I don't think as much work has been put into it. I go to different parts of Africa and I see people who, because of the basic, they don't have the necessary equipment to look after the sickle cell. It's a challenge because you don't know how to communicate this to them, that it can get better, because it only gets better if you have the right equipment, if you have the right medicine, if you have the right hospital to look after this. I always tell people, I also grew up in Nigeria and I also know the struggle. One other thing when you have your child who has sickle cell is that you don't see that child as a child who's different. You don't treat that child different from if they do have siblings. You don't treat them differently from the siblings. You must always encourage them. And another thing you must always do is that you must always provide, because sometimes if they're too hot, especially a little child, they don't know how to communicate this. So you must always talk to that person and let them know that yes, you are at increased risk because you already have sickle cell, so you're increased risk of other things, complication happening from there. So you must be aware of what are the things you need to do to look after yourself, if it's you or if it's your child. I also like to talk to people who are increased risk, like people who are AS, for example, and for them to understand if they do get married, what are the consequences, what are the risks they have to face, because it is a challenge for them, but especially if you've never seen any child who's been sick with sickle cell. It is something that's quite shocking when you first see your child in much pain, and you think, how do I deal with this? What do I do for this child? What do I have to give them? So this is how we always have to encourage them and just say, look, it looks bad, but sometimes we do get better. And that's why I'm actually a person who speaks out and constantly speak on behalf of sickle cell, because I know I've been through the worst circumstances, and I know it's constantly, it's ongoing. I still have to take lots of medicine every day. I still have to take care of myself. I still have to eat healthily. But I think at the same time, we could still live normal life as well if we do things that are right. Through my journey, I've definitely encountered a lot of people with the different aspect of sickle cell. And I think for me, the most rewarding aspect of it is understanding that what I've said to them will make a difference. That's probably someone was doing something that they shouldn't have done, and just me telling them that, you know what, all this child needs is just an extra 2 hours of sleep. all this child needs is that Friday they can't go to school, homeschool them. That's all the child needs. And that has made, I've seen people who have applied these things and understand, seeing how much difference you've made in the child life. And also the parents have come back and say, actually, this has made a massive difference, because through what you've told us, through your voice, through you speaking to us, I've seen that, I was looking after my child in a certain way, which I probably was not actually helping my child, because sometimes I'd prevent them from going to school because I was too nervous that they might get cold, they might not give them the right food. And I say to them, have you talked to the teacher? Have you asked them to do things that are different? And from them speaking and making their voice heard, or making some slight adjustment to their children's schedule or their schedule, they've seen a massive improvement. So I think through my journey, just speaking to these people has made me realize and given me that there's so much joy out there if you just speak and if you understand people's problem. Because also sometimes it's also affected me, and it's also helped me in my way, my journey. Especially when I speak to much older people who are living with sickle cell, when I ask them, oh, how did you do it? People with more than one kids, how did you do it? How was pregnancy? But second time around much better. So speaking to people, that network does help and make a difference.